What if I told you that the way you spend this December right now, this very moment, will completely determine the success, happiness, and growth you experience next year? Most people wait for January to start fresh, but January doesn't create change. It reveals what you've already built. Your future is shaped not by a date on the calendar, but by the effort you put in today. So ask yourself, are you ready to build a January life that your future self will thank you for? Because everything you want starts in this very December. Your December effort will build your January life, and those words mean more than motivation. They are a promise, a warning, and a map for anyone who truly wants to change their life. December is not just the final month of the year, it is the final mirror. It reflects everything you did, everything you didn't do, everything you tried, everything you stopped trying, everything you said, everything you stayed silent about, every choice, every habit, every sacrifice, every regret, every moment where you showed up, and every moment where you held back. December is a truth teller. It shows you the results of your year without excuses, without filters, without softening the reality. It's honest in a way no other month dares to be. And that honesty is a gift, because it gives you the most powerful chance you have all year. The chance to finish strong and begin stronger. December asks you a question that many people ignore. Are you going to wait for January to change your life, or will you take responsibility today? Because the truth is, January will not save you. A new year doesn't fix old habits. A new month doesn't erase old excuses. A new calendar doesn't build a new character. People think the new year will magically give them motivation, discipline, consistency, confidence. But the new year is not a magician. It doesn't transform you. It reveals you. It shows you who you truly became in December. January exposes preparation or lack of preparation. January doesn't give you a new life. It gives you the results of the life you built or didn't build in December. That's why your December effort matters so deeply. Think of December as the soil and January as the harvest. If you don't plant anything in December, discipline, clarity, new routines, stronger habits, you will walk into January with empty hands and wonder why nothing is changing. But if you start now, even with small steps, those steps will multiply into something powerful. Every day of December is a seed. Every choice is a seed. Every action is a seed. And January will grow whatever you plant now, whether that seed is discipline or delay, commitment or comfort, responsibility or excuses. The seed doesn't choose what grows. You choose what grows. You may look at your year and feel disappointed. You may feel behind. You may feel like you didn't accomplish enough. You may feel like too many months were wasted, too many opportunities were missed, too many decisions were postponed. But December gives you permission to stop drowning in regret and start swimming toward renewal. You don't need 12 months to change your life. Sometimes all you need is one brave month, one focused month, one disciplined month, one month where you decide that enough is enough. Think back to the beginning of the year. Maybe you made promises you didn't keep. Maybe you had dreams you didn't chase. Maybe life threw challenges at you that you weren't prepared for. Maybe people who promised to stay left you halfway. Maybe you were hurt, betrayed, misunderstood. Maybe you were discouraged so deeply that you stopped believing in yourself. But here you are. You survived. You made it to December, and that means something powerful. You're still in the fight. You're still capable of rising. You're still able to rebuild. You're still allowed to grow. December doesn't care how many times you fell this year. It only cares about one thing. Will you rise now? Will you finish stronger than you started? Will you choose consistency over excuses? Will you choose healing over hurting? Will you choose discipline over delay? Will you choose courage over comfort? Will you choose action over waiting? Because waiting has stolen too much from you already. Waiting has delayed your growth. Waiting has weakened your confidence. Waiting has given fear more power than it deserves. Waiting has kept you in rooms you outgrew long ago. Waiting has chained your potential to the past. And December is telling you, in its quiet but powerful voice, no more waiting. This is your month to take control. This is your month to rewrite your ending. This is your month to build a bridge into the next year. This is your month to choose effort even when motivation is low. Because discipline is not about being in the mood. Discipline is about being in the moment. It's about deciding that your future matters more than your comfort. It's about choosing your purpose over your excuses. It's about choosing the person you want to become over the person you used to be. December is where transformation begins in silence. No applause, no celebration. No crowd, just you and your choices. This month is not loud, it's not vibrant, it's not filled with the fireworks of January. December is quiet, cold, reflective, and that silence is where your real strength is built. Champions are not created in moments of celebration. They are created in moments of discipline when no one is watching, in rooms where nobody claps, in days when everything feels slow, in nights when you question whether your effort matters. That is where character is built. That is where destiny is shaped. That is where your January future is created. Maybe you've been carrying emotional weight throughout the year. Maybe there are people you couldn't let go of even though their presence drains you. Maybe there are habits you never addressed even though they hold you back. Maybe there are patterns you keep repeating because they feel familiar even though they sabotage your growth. Maybe there are dreams you stopped chasing because you were afraid of failing. But December is asking you, gently but firmly, how much longer will you carry what no longer belongs to you? How long will you tolerate things that don't support your growth? How long will you feed cycles that make you weaker? How long will you hold on to people who don't hold on to you? December is not asking you to judge yourself. It's asking you to free yourself. This is the month to clean your life, the month to set boundaries, the month to detach from what drains you, the month to reconnect with what builds you, the month to rediscover the power within you, because everything you allow now will follow you into January, and everything you remove now will free your January. Some people think letting go is painful, but what's more painful is carrying things that are slowly breaking you. December allows you to choose what comes with you and what stays behind. You don't have to fix your whole life in December. You don't have to transform everything. You don't need perfection. You just need momentum. Momentum is more valuable than motivation. Motivation fades. Momentum grows. Small actions repeated daily create momentum. And momentum creates change. So even if you start tiny, waking up earlier, organizing your space, improving your routines, reading 10 minutes a day, walking a little more, planning your goals, praying, reflecting, meditating, writing, working, healing, those small choices become the foundation of a powerful January. Your December effort will build your January life because effort compounds, effort multiplies, effort transforms, effort sends a message to your heart, I am ready, and the heart responds with strength. When you start acting like the person you want to become, life slowly reshapes around you. The universe responds to courage, God responds to sincerity, destiny responds to effort. People believe their life will change when January arrives. But it changes when you arrive, when you show up, when you stop delaying, when you take responsibility, when you choose growth, when you rise even when it's hard. And December is the perfect month for that rise, because it's the only month where you can see both the past and the future clearly at the same time. You can look back and learn, and you can look forward and prepare. No other month gives you this balance. December is transition. December is transformation. December is alignment. And the most powerful alignment you can create is between who you are and who you want to be. This year may have left scars on you. Some visible, some hidden, but scars don't mean you're broken. Scars mean you healed. Scars mean you survived. Scars mean you're stronger than what tried to kill your spirit. Let December remind you that your scars are proof of resilience, not reasons for regret. Let this month show you that even if the year tried to break you, you still have time to rise before it ends. You don't need to impress anyone. You don't need to announce your plans. You don't need to prove your worth. December is not about showing the world who you are. It is about remembering who you are. It is about coming home to yourself. It is about rediscovering the fire inside you that may be dimmed throughout the year. It is about reigniting your purpose. This is the month where the quiet work matters, the inner work, the emotional work. The spiritual work, the mental work, the discipline work, the healing work, the kind of work nobody applauds but everyone notices when January arrives, because your energy will be different, your focus will be sharper, your confidence will be stronger, your direction will be clearer. You will step into January not trying to become a new person, but as a stronger version of yourself. Every December has the potential to be the month that changes everything. But only if you choose effort over excuses, only if you decide that you are done repeating old cycles, only if you refuse to enter the new year with the same old mindset, only if you commit to preparing yourself for the greatness you claim to want. Your December effort will build your January life, and your January life will build your entire year. So make this month matter. Even if you start small, start with sincerity, start with honesty, start with heart. And when you finally understand that December is not a month, it's a mirror, you begin to realize why so many people repeat the same year over and over again. They never learn from the reflection December gives them. They never pause and ask themselves, who have I become this year? They never check whether they evolved or stayed the same or, worse, went backwards. December gives you that moment. December puts your entire year in your hands and says, now decide what you want to do with everything you lived. Most people don't like December because December tells the truth. December removes the noise, the excuses, the distractions, and the illusions. December brings silence. And in that silence, you can finally hear your own reality. And for many, that reality is uncomfortable. The habits they built were weak. The choices they made were based on fear. The goals they set were abandoned by February. Their consistency died in the middle of the year. Their discipline was something they talked about but never lived. December exposes all of it. But here's the magic. December doesn't expose you to embarrass you. December exposes you so that you can rebuild yourself. December exposes you so that your January doesn't have to look like your yesterday. December is the month that gives you one final chance to rewrite the chapter before the next book begins. And the most powerful thing you can realize is that nothing you failed at this year has the authority to control your next one, unless you allow it to. You have to understand something deeply. The universe does not reward desire. It rewards decisions. You don't get a better January because you want one. You get a better January because in December you acted like the person who deserves one. You prepared. You disciplined yourself. You became intentional. You showed up even when you didn't feel like it. You built habits that support your goals instead of habits that destroy them. You didn't wait for a new year to create a new you. You started now. There's a truth nobody likes to say out loud. People who wait until January to change are the same people who give up by February, because change doesn't happen on calendars. Change happens in commitment. A date doesn't transform you. Discipline does, and discipline begins the moment you decide that your future matters more than your comfort, that your goals matter more than your excuses, that your growth is more important than your weakness, that your dreams are worth the sacrifices that most people are too afraid to make. There are two types of people in December. The first group slows down, gives up, relaxes, puts everything on hold. I'll start in January, they say. They don't realize that January doesn't give you motivation. It gives you responsibility. It gives you consequences. It gives you the results of everything you did or didn't do in December. And when January arrives, they suddenly realize nothing magically changed. They wake up the same person, with the same habits, with the same lack of momentum, and then they wonder why the year feels heavy. The second type of person is different. They use December like a weapon. While everyone else sleeps, they plan. While everyone else wastes time, they build. While everyone else slows down, they accelerate. And by the time January arrives, they're already weeks ahead. They don't need motivation. The momentum they built in December carries them. They enter the new year with clarity, confidence, direction, and fire. They don't hope for change. They've already created it. And this is the truth you must carry deeply inside you. The separation between these two types of people happens now. In December, not in January, the people who win the next year are the ones who work now, prepare now, discipline themselves now. You can't build your January life in January. That's too late. You build it in December. You build it today. You build it in the quiet, in the unseen moments when no one is watching and you choose to show up anyway. Maybe this year broke you. Maybe it drained you. Maybe it pushed you in ways you never expected. Maybe you lost things you didn't know you would lose. Maybe opportunities slipped through your fingers. Maybe people disappointed you, betrayed you, underestimated you, abandoned you. Maybe your progress was slower than you hoped. Maybe your heart hurts. Maybe your spirit is tired. That's okay. December is when you take everything that hurt you and turn it into everything that builds you. You can rise from this year. You can rise from the mistakes. You can rise from the pain. You can rise from the setbacks. You can rise from the versions of yourself that you don't want to carry into your future, because December is the month of rising. It's the month of choosing again. It's the month of returning to yourself. It's the month of saying, I may not be where I want to be yet, but I refuse to walk into another year as the same person. And that decision, the decision to rise, is what begins to rewrite your whole life. You don't need a perfect year. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a perfect commitment, and commitment begins with a single choice. I'm not waiting anymore. I'm not delaying anymore. I'm not postponing my life until January. I'm building now. December is not asking you to change everything overnight. December is asking you to take one step, one small action that aligns with your future, one decision that moves you forward instead of backwards. Because one small change in December creates a different version of you in January, and that version of you makes different choices, takes different actions, and attracts different outcomes. The smallest December shift can create the biggest January transformation. You have to remember something powerful. The person you will be in January is already inside you. You don't need a new year. You need a new level of honesty with yourself. You need a new level of discipline. You need a new relationship with your dreams. You need to understand that preparation is not punishment. Consistency is not suffering. Discipline is not a prison. These are the tools that free you. These are the tools that take you from wishing to winning. When you show up for your goals in December, you're not just building habits. You're building identity. You're telling yourself, this is who I am now. I am someone who doesn't quit. I am someone who doesn't procrastinate. I am someone who doesn't wait for the perfect moment. I create the moment. And once that identity forms, nothing can stop you, because life is not changed by motivation. It is changed by identity. Let me tell you something important. December effort feels harder than January effort. Because in December, everyone else is distracted. Everyone else is slowing down. Everyone else is relaxing. And when you choose to rise in a season where most people fall asleep, it feels lonely. It feels heavy. It feels like no one understands your hunger, but that loneliness is your advantage. That difficulty is your advantage. That separation is what will make you unstoppable in the new year. If you can discipline yourself in December, you can conquer your entire year. Because if your mindset is strong when everyone else is weak, if your consistency survives when everyone else pauses, if your focus remains sharp when everyone else drifts, you become the kind of person who is not controlled by circumstances, seasons, moods, or excuses. You become the kind of person who wins everywhere, in goals, in habits, in career, in life. This December, you must ask yourself, what version of me do I want to carry into January? What habits do I want to bring with me? What parts of me must stay behind? Because you cannot take your old excuses into your new life. You cannot take your old fears into your new opportunities. You cannot take your old laziness into your new path. You cannot take your old distractions into your new destiny. If you want a different year, you must become a different person, and becoming that person begins now. Here in December, every day you hesitate, your future waits. Every day you delay, your dreams drift further. Every day you choose comfort, you are choosing a weaker version of yourself. But every day you show up, even for 5 minutes, you are choosing a stronger you, and that stronger version of you is the one who will carry you into January with strength, fire, and clarity. Imagine walking into the new year not hoping you'll succeed, but knowing you'll succeed. Imagine entering the new year not with resolutions, but with already built habits. Imagine starting the new year not fixing your life, but accelerating your life. That is what December effort creates. That is what showing up now gives you. That is the power you hold today. And here is the truth most people ignore. December is not the last month. December is the launch month. December is the foundation. December is the preparation. December is the difference between another year of survival and the first year of transformation. You don't have to change the world in December. You just have to change your direction. And there comes a moment in every December when you feel the weight of the entire year resting silently on your shoulders, not to crush you, but to remind you that you made it. You survived things you never thought you would survive. You endured storms that were meant to break you. You walked through months that tested your patience, stretched your heart, challenged your beliefs, and pushed you into corners you never asked to stand in. Yet here you are, breathing, standing, learning, transforming. December asks you to honor that strength, not ignore it. Sometimes we rush so quickly into the next year that we forget to acknowledge the battles we fought in this one. But the truth is, your growth this year didn't come from success, it came from survival. Your character wasn't shaped by the days everything went right, but by the days everything went wrong and you still refused to give up. You showed resilience when you were exhausted. You showed faith when you had no proof. You showed courage when fear was louder than hope. That is what December wants you to remember. You are so much stronger than the story your doubts try to tell. But December also whispers something else. Strength is not enough. Strength is what carried you through this year. Discipline is what will build next year. And the person who learns how to combine strength with discipline becomes unstoppable. They no longer wait for perfect timing. They no longer depend on motivation. They no longer rely on circumstances to be right. They rise because rising is their identity. They show up because showing up is who they are now. Most people don't understand the power of finishing. They start strong, but they end carelessly. They begin with excitement, but they close with excuses. They think the end doesn't matter because the year is already over. But endings matter more than beginnings. The way you finish December becomes the emotional energy you carry into January. The way you end this year becomes the mental clarity you walk into the next one with. A strong finish builds a stronger future. There are people who begin the year saying, "This is my year." Yet they say it every year because they never change the way they end their year. They don't realize that January is not a reset button. January is a reflection of the identity you built in the final moments of the previous year. You can't become a new person overnight just because the calendar changed. You become a new person when your daily decisions begin to align with the life you want to live. December is where those decisions begin. Think about nature. Nothing grows in winter by accident. Everything that grows in spring is prepared in silence during the cold months. The roots deepen, the seeds fortify. The soil strengthens. Winter is not death, it is preparation. December is your winter, and what you plant now, your habits, your routine, your mindset, becomes the harvest of your entire next year. If you plant discipline now, you harvest success later. If you plant consistency now, you harvest confidence later. If you plant intention now, you harvest transformation later. The most dangerous lie people tell themselves is, "I'll start later." Later is the graveyard of dreams. Later is the birthplace of regret. Later is the enemy of growth. Later convinces you that time will wait for you, but time never waits. Time moves with or without you, and if you don't move with it, you wake up one day realizing you wasted months or years waiting for a feeling that never arrived. You don't start because you feel ready. You start because you want to become ready. You start because you understand that distance is covered one step at a time, and that's what December is offering you, your first step. Not your final step, not your perfect step, just your first one, the step that breaks your patterns, the step that separates you from your past self, the step that tells your brain, we're going in a new direction now, the step that builds momentum. Because momentum is created in small, consistent actions, not in dramatic resolutions. Resolutions collapse, routines complete the journey. There is something incredibly powerful about doing the right thing when no one is watching. December gives you that power. This month is quiet. People are distracted. People are ignoring their goals. People are postponing everything until next year. And because everyone is slowing down, this is the one month where your discipline becomes 10 times more valuable. Not because the effort is bigger, but because there is less competition. When everyone else is sleeping, your effort shines brighter. When everyone else is pausing, your progress multiplies. Sometimes you look back at your year and feel disappointment. You see opportunities you missed, chances you didn't take, months where you drifted, days where fear guided your decisions instead of courage. But the beauty of December is that it doesn't demand perfection. It demands honesty. It demands ownership. It asks you to look at your life and say, I could have done better. And not to shame yourself, but to empower yourself. Because the person who takes responsibility for their life becomes the person who can change it. Your December effort is not just about goals, it's about identity. It's about becoming the kind of person who doesn't run from effort, the kind of person who shows up even when it's cold, even when it's difficult, even when it's inconvenient, even when no one claps for them. Because the truth is, the applause will come later, the results will come later, the recognition will come later, but the work must come now. The transformation always begins in a season where no one sees you. And I want you to imagine something. Imagine a version of you standing at the doorway of January. Imagine them stronger, clearer, more focused, more disciplined, more intentional. Imagine that version of you looking back at you right now in December and saying, thank you for not quitting, thank you for preparing, thank you for building the habits that I needed. That future version of you is depending on your decisions today. Your December effort is a gift to your January self. You have to stop thinking that effort is something heavy. Effort is not a burden. Effort is a bridge. It takes you from where you are to where you want to be. It takes you from dreams to reality. It takes you from wishing to winning. It takes you from hoping to having. But the bridge only appears when you take the first step. And the first step always feels the hardest because you're stepping away from comfort. But comfort never built a meaningful life. Comfort never created confidence. Comfort never transformed anyone. The people you admire didn't become who they are because they waited for the perfect moment. They became who they are because they decided that every moment, even December, was an opportunity. They understood that discipline is a form of self-respect, that consistency is a form of self-love, that working on yourself is not punishment, it is preparation. Preparation for a life they knew they deserved, preparation for blessings they knew were meant for them, preparation for goals that required a stronger version of themselves, and you have to become that stronger version. Not tomorrow, not next month, now. The world doesn't give power to people who wait. It gives power to people who act. It gives opportunity to people who prepare. It gives success to people who build when no one else is building. And this is your season to build. December is the month where you separate your excuses from your truth, where you silence the voice that tells you to wait, where you replace fear with courage and hesitation with action. where you stop negotiating with your goals, where you stop seeking comfort and start seeking progress, where you remind yourself that you have survived every bad day of your life, and that means you can handle whatever it takes to build a better one. The truth is, effort is a choice, growth is a choice, change is a choice, and you don't need to change your entire life today. You just need to change the direction of your next step, because a single December decision can rewrite your entire January. A single December habit can reshape your entire mindset. A single December commitment can rebuild your entire future. You are not behind, you are not late, you are not finished, you are preparing, you are rising. You are building something inside you that the world will see soon. Your December effort is the foundation. Your January life is the result, and the beautiful thing about foundations is that nobody sees them, but everything stands on them. Your effort this month will become the strength you stand on for the next 12 months. You deserve a life that excites you. You deserve a year that feels different. You deserve a future that reflects your potential, not your fears. And that future begins with what you choose to do right now. Don't let this December slip through your fingers. Don't wait for the calendar to change before you do. Don't walk into January as the same person. Build yourself now, strengthen yourself now, discipline yourself now, because the world cannot stop a person who shows up when everyone else stops trying. And now, as you stand at the edge of this December, you must realize this is more than a month. This is your launching pad. This is your chance to rise not just above your circumstances, but above your own doubts and fears. This is your moment to close the door on the past and open the door to a new you, a stronger, wiser, more disciplined you. Every great journey begins with a single step, and December is the step you cannot afford to miss. Imagine the power of starting now with commitment, with focus, with faith. Imagine how that effort, compounded daily, will change everything about your next year. Imagine the satisfaction of walking into January with momentum instead of hesitation, with confidence instead of doubt, with clarity instead of confusion. This month is your opportunity to prove to yourself that you are not defined by the setbacks you endured, but by the courage you summoned to move forward. You are not bound by the failures of the past, but by the decisions you make today. You are not a prisoner of your circumstances, but the architect of your future. Do not wait for motivation, because motivation is fleeting. Discipline is what builds dreams. It's the small, consistent actions that you take every day, even when you don't feel like it, that define who you become. December is your chance to build that discipline, to practice it, to ingrain it into the very fiber of your being. As you push through the cold days and longer nights, remind yourself that this discomfort is temporary, but the results will last a lifetime. The sacrifice you make now will create freedom later. The hard work you put in today will build a legacy tomorrow. Sometimes the hardest part is just starting. You might feel tired, overwhelmed, or discouraged. But remember, every person who has achieved something great has faced those same feelings. What separates the winners from the rest is that they kept going. They didn't wait for perfect conditions. They created perfect conditions by showing up. They embraced the struggle as part of the process, knowing that growth happens outside of comfort. So this December, be relentless, be intentional, be brave enough to take imperfect action, because waiting for perfect will only delay your dreams. Action builds momentum, momentum builds results, and results build belief. Believe in your ability to change, to grow, to rise. You are capable of more than you think. You have within you the power to overcome any obstacle, to break any limit, to rewrite any story. But it requires one thing, your effort right now, in this moment, in this December. Let this month be the turning point, the month where you say no to excuses, no to procrastination, no to fear. The month where you say yes to discipline, yes to persistence, yes to courage. The month where you decide that your future is worth every ounce of effort you have. Remember, your December effort will build your January life. It will shape your habits, your mindset, your confidence, your success. What you do now will echo throughout your entire year. Don't let the opportunity pass. Don't let another year slip by with regrets. You have the power to choose today. To decide that this December is not an end, but a beginning of a new chapter filled with promise, progress, and purpose. Stand tall, take a deep breath. Commit to your journey and let your effort today build the life you deserve tomorrow, because the best version of yourself is waiting to be unleashed, and it starts with what you do this December.